we're going to talk about April 21st, 2007, Scarlett Johansson. All right, so we have a very fun digital short that I rewatched and enjoyed. And I wouldn't have said, it's not top of my list, but I do think about Roy Rules a lot. I know it's a huge part of your life, Andy.
Major.
So Roy Rules is about your brother-in-law.
It's about my real-life brother-in-law, Roy. I don't remember exactly when the idea was first breached.
I remember this, though. Part of what prompted this was us being like, we were tired. Then maybe I'm misremembering this. I probably am. But I remember us being tired of having full crews and moving at the speed of a crew. So at least for me, I was like, let's pare this down and get back to us with a camera.
It was a conscious choice to do something kind of run and gun and low stakes. We weren't swinging for the fences. And I think for us, look, we were still actually relatively early in our run at the show, but we didn't understand that or how it was going to feel over the course of time. So it was like, hey, let's do kind of a weird one. And by making it actually personal, that was a totally new move for us.
I want to note, again, it's end of the season, and this episode and the next, we'll be talking about your final 2 digital shorts of this year. Yorm, you said you were tired, and the next 2 we're going to talk about have a real patina of tired on them.
Yeah.
And kind of, I think, a pretty lazy Yorm vibe, too.
Yeah, we're limping to the finish line for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And when Andy was suggesting this, I don't recall, Kiev, your input on doing this or not, but I can't imagine that you were like, this is great.
I don't think he was even there.
I think this is another week. I don't think I got off completely you don't have to show up to work, but I think I must have been pretty heavy into Hot Rod.
Yes.
It's April.
Okay.
It was coming out in August.
Yeah, it was me and you, Yorm, and Matt Murray.
Yeah.
I would say that in the grand scheme of this, it was better in rewatch than I had expected.
It's better in rewatch and worse looking than I remember.
Yeah.
It looked atrocious. I laughed a few times. There were a few things I'd forgotten about.
Let's begin with the fact that your actual brother-in-law, Roy, part of the joy of this for you was that he would find out once it aired, which means he could not play himself in this digital short. So you had to cast Roy.
That's right. The incomparable Brian Tucker.
Mm-hmm. He's a writer at SNL.
One of the great SNL writers.
Keith, why don't you talk a little bit about Tucker?
Tucker joined the show with us same year, and he had come from, I think, Chappelle Show at that point and some other shows like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think Neil Brennan recommended him. I believe he pitched the idea of the racial draft, the great Chappelle sketch.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel like when we started, the writers, it was just Jost, us, and him were kind of the ones that started at the same time. So there was always a kinship there. We also put him in Threw It on the Ground. Sorry, I don't know the name of our song, which we'll talk about later, but he's the hot dog vendor. And he just has a great look, and he's good at acting.
Also, if you watch Roy Rules, the fun thing about Tucker's incredible sort of encyclopedic rap knowledge, and it should be noted, was one of the great Keenan collaborators in his time on the show.
Oh, yeah. Always.
Wrote better stuff for Keenan maybe than anybody. That's saying a lot.
It was very fun to shoot. It was very run and gun. I have an anecdote about it, a lore-anecdote.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great.
Oh, good.
So we shot this and edited it, and it didn't air the first time we tried it. And then I remember being like, what? and then it was unclear if this is really the reason, or it was just like we first tried to put it on a strong show where they didn't need a piece of tape because they had better stuff. Or if later I was told, hey, because the original line was, I've got this theory he was put on Earth by God to give men succulent hand jobs.
Yeah, we did that version. We made that version.
That was written and recorded and filmed. And then we got told by someone, that's the reason it didn't air. You can't say succulent hand jobs. So I end up on the phone with Lauren and I'm like, hey, so we're trying to fix, succulent hand jobs. He's like, uh-huh. And I go, how would you feel about succulent rub downs? And there's a long pause and he goes, I could live with succulent rub downs. Realizing how mad we were about it. And then realizing, we just talked to the boss about changing hand jobs for rub downs. That's a forever Lauren moment for me. I can live with succulent rub downs. So earlier I mentioned that Matt Murray helped us on Roy Rules. And he sent me a voice note.
Okay, great.
Hey guys, Matt Murray here. You're talking about Roy Rules, something I just watched and have zero memory of being involved with.
Right.
But Andy says I might have been. I tend not to really remember much of what I did at SNL, either through a combination of stress or shame or booze. but it's possible.
I feel like though it was me with the camera shooting you, Andy, and I thought that Matt was with us. Maybe had like Rachel Lynn was with us, or like maybe one other person.
While I hate the fact that he was stressed, it's very validating and rewarding for me to know that I was not alone, because a lot of people hit it very well.
Yeah, he hit it very well.
I had that with John Solomon.
Jost and I, it should be noted, we worked together on this sketch. It was a bad sketch, okay? I do not want to go into this sketch. It was just a very average sketch. It was not particularly inventive, and I was in between dress and air. Maybe I think it was during air. Sometimes during air, you get the word that you have to find 30 seconds from a sketch.
Yeah.
And so I went down to the booth to basically give changes to the script supervisors on the show. I had a great and continue to have a great relationship with the people who do script at SNL. I think they have one of the hardest jobs on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
I love them very much. I think that they had a great amount of respect for me. I think I was one of the better people as far as getting my changes in on time. As they were taking the notes, somebody felt very confident that this was Joe's sketch and not a me and Joe sketch. And they said something super snarky about the sketch. I would like to also point out what they said was the fairest of hits.
My God, yes.
But it was not, it was deeply not cool to say something mean about a sketch right in front of the person as he's being you changes. And to this person's credit, the next week, I'm sure what happened is I walked away and they were informed of the mistake they made. And this person came to my office the following Monday to apologize. My take was the hardest part about it was just how true it all was.
Oh my God.
Everyone at the show talks shit about the show.
Yes.
Like, you forget that every department, the moment the door is shut, they go, they're like, I got to make wigs for this fucking terrible sketch.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, everyone and every department.
Roy Rules, it should be noted, in the digital short brackets, Roy Rules did make the final 64. It was a 15 seed. And that feels about right.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a few that made it further through that I personally like less.
I'm sure. Guys, I know Andy's a little biased here. Criterion Collection, Roy Rules. Does it make it?
Oh.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Just to let everyone off the hook?
Yeah, please.
I think no.
Okay.
I think it's a delightful confection, and I think it represents a type of giddy, like, dumbness that we love. And I feel proud of Roy Rules. And I think it was cool that we did something that was personal in a weird way like that. But I think if you're holding it up against the cream of the crop, I wouldn't put it in there.
Yeah, it feels too lazy to me to put in. But can I ask you another question about this Criterion Collection? How many spots do we get to put in this Criterion Collection?
I kind of don't want to give this hard, fast rule.
Okay.
This season is the one we keep, talking about how we were so tired from Hot Rod right off the bat and how we had a real run of stinkers at the beginning until Dick in a Box. But the last three, which was United Way, Dear Sister, Roy Rules, I think that's actually run a little bit of a run.
Yeah, you're right. That's a really nice run of things.
Roy Rules didn't have legs or wasn't, didn't make the impression those other two did.
But by the way, United Way and Dear Sister are both Criterion.
Right.
For our discussions.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think that says a successful season to have two of those.
United Way made it to the Sweet 16, I believe, of the digital short brackets when we voted on the best one ever.
Wow.
This is a big one.
Wait, have we explained the brackets before? Because it's been so long since we recorded.
We'll eventually get to the brackets.
Okay.
But we, at one point, the entire SNL cast and writing staff voted on the best digital short of all time. And it was right near the end of things.
Yeah. Wow. At the end of
Sweet
days.
16, though, that's very good.
I would say the other Sweet 16ers we've had so far are Dick in a Box and Natalie Rapp and Lonely Island. I think are the only
Lazy
other.
Sunday.
Oh, right. Sorry. I want to talk real quickly about the Julie Louis-Dreyfus episode. There was a digital short called Roy Rules, which we'll eventually get to because it airs a couple weeks later. Classic
Sweet
Scarlet
16,
episode.
I bet. No? Didn't make it into Sweet 16?
No, I don't think Roy Rules even made the final field of 64.
I don't think Roy Rules made it out of the first round.
Huh. That's weird.
There were 100 digital shorts, and I had to pick the top 64 for the brackets. And Roy Rules, I'm going to tell you right now, did not
Yeah,
make
knowing Seth, it didn't make it to this.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. It took a long time to figure out how Vinny Vedecci would be a sketch. And I ended up working on it with them. I can't quite remember how we figured it out. But me and Matt Murray and Bill worked on Vinny.
I remember you coming to me being like, what if we did one of those United Way things, but he's an asshole?
Yeah. I still to this day feel confident that Peyton planted the seed. I don't think he said, let's do United Way, but he certainly gave us permission to go do this sketch that worked exactly as well as he thought it would.
We do a lot of complaining on this podcast about how difficult things were, how bad we were at coming up with ideas or whatever. This one I remember feeling a little bit effortless.
It was effortless.
And that's really rare. Like, you had a great idea. We brainstormed a bunch of bits.
Yep.
We went down there and did them. He came up with new ones on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
It got better as we shot.
Yep.
And we only shot for a couple hours out in the sun.
It was super easy.
As I mentioned, beautiful day.
Beautiful.
Flows really nice.
I did want to mention Keith's description of how well it went. I have to point out, like, 2 crucial ingredients were missing. Me and Yorm.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
We
Keith, you're
weren't.
saying not having to answer to the 2 dudes you've known since junior high made it easier?
Yeah.
Seth, did we ever do just an Akiva Seth joint ever again?
Yes. Firelight.
Firelight.
Oh, yeah, Firelight. Yeah.
Is there anything else you to say about the shorts? I mean, it does sort of speak for itself.
Did anyone rewatch it?
I did.
I didn't rewatch it leading up.
I did.
I didn't because I felt less involved.
I have something to say. I thought the sound design was exceptional and made a big difference.
It's really good sound design.
And the editing, as always, Keith, spectac.
Thank you so much.
Pretty sure I swung by and we talked it down, and it was already pretty much done when I saw it. We made a couple little titans.
I'm sure.
Andy loves tightening things.
A good use of a beep, a couple curse words at the end where a beep is just as good, if not better, than actually hearing him say.
Sometimes it's much better.
But yeah, it was a pure stroke. The whole thing was just like hot knife through butter.
Yeah.
And it played great.
It destroyed. And then you guys, Halftime,
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
which is written with Will Forte and John Lutz, and it's one of the all-time great sketches. And before we talk about it, here is a voice note from our friend John Lutz.
Probably one of my favorite sketches I've ever worked on, and it's the one people still talk about to me when they hear that I've written it. They love it. It's the one where he's a dancing coach with Will Forte. It was a Herb Alpert song that I brought to Forte and I said, I want to do something with this. And he said, I've been looking to write a sketch where a coach tries to motivate people in a weird way. And it all kind of fell into place where it was just so much fun to write.
Maybe the most memorable for me sketch of the night is the Halftime sketch. Also, real who's who of the men in the cast at the time. Andy, you might do the best keeping a straight face.
Thank you.
Both Peyton Manning and Keenan Thompson put towels in front of their faces. Bill has a hand in front of his face most of the time. And then a sort of classically stoic Fred and a classically stoic Jason have small moments where I feel as though Will has amped it up past where they were prepared for him to go.
Did Andy ever break? Not that I didn't watch it again.
I will
for
say
research.
I wasn't watching it on the highest res. What do you think, Andy? What are you going to give yourself?
I think by the end, I actually did. It was really fucking funny.
It's really funny. It's May 19th, 2007. The host is Zach Braff. We are finishing up your second season on the show. And the digital short is Dog Lover.
Is this the finale?
This is the finale.
When this was texted to all of us, I was like, that's not a real name of a short.
Oh, yeah.
That's how much I didn't remember it.
Do you guys remember this sort of joy/dread of a final SNL?
Yeah, of course.
Like both knowing you're kind of off the hook for not having to do the show for a summer, but also that emptiness in case you're not going to do anything professional over the summer too.
We always had a plan. We were very lucky.
Well, yeah, what were we going to do this summer? Was this our first album? Were we going straight into
We were
album?
putting out the movie.
Oh, yeah.
The movie was
Yeah.
coming out, so probably just press and press.
Yeah. They had a big old press tour for us. We traveled for it.
And I was
Yeah.
getting married too. So no, I was just like, had the jitters for getting married.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Your arm was getting cold
the
feet.
jitters,
Yeah, it's had cold feet. Oh, immediately.
So Dog Lover. You know what? I feel like this is allowed. We all rewatched Dog Lover today.
Mm-hmm.
We did.
And I think most of us had no memory of Dog Lover.
And no notes.
I remembered it.
My memory, though, was just the feeling I had after of not liking it. And so I was actually, it was better than I thought it was going to be.
Here is this. I'm not going to say who said what, but this was the exchange on the Lonely Island podcast text chain. Who boy? Who boy? Ha ha ha. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Lot to process. Wow. Was not expecting any of that. Again, that is a text exchange by the people who did it.
It played well.
It did play.
Yeah.
I was listening to it and every joke was landing.
And P.S., after it aired, I had a lot of people who were specifically dog lovers say that they really liked it.
Yeah.
And that they thought it was sweet and funny.
Why did we hate it so much?
We didn't want to do a short that week.
You guys were officially in the place now where people who had comedy taste and were hosting the show wanted to do a short. That was kind of one of the appeals of it, is you get to host SNL and you also get to do a short. And you were also entering the era where Lorne felt unsatisfied if there was not a short in the show. So you guys sometimes were up against the fact that you both had a host who was enthusiastic and a boss who was desirous. And if you didn't have an idea, you were out of luck. You had to figure one out.
Well, as we've mentioned, there was that laminated card on the board.
Yes.
At some point.
Yeah, at some point, right. At some point, Digital Short was a card of its own, the way Monologue and Weekend Update were.
Yes, which is a real flattering / terrifying thing to see.
For how much we were just so had nothing and were scrambling to just do this at the very last one where our head was already into Hot Rod, back into being like, finally we can finish Hot Rod. We left it with such a like, we just shit that out. But when I just rewatched it, not like I love it, But I was expecting something with no laughs that died. And I was really pleasantly surprised to hear the audience was on board.
Here's what I'll say. I rewatched it. I giggled. I liked the music. Yorm, you edited it, I assume.
Maybe.
I really liked the music. No, Keeve, you cut it?
I'm pretty sure I was fully in on this one.
Oh, okay. Well, I really liked the music you chose. It was like sarcastic in the right way. It reminded me of our early Lonely Island stuff. Where it had a tone, where we were telegraphing to people that this is silly and stupid and had a sort of irony to it. My acting, I didn't like. It was a little too sarcastic and rubbery for my taste. I think it would have played better if I had treated it more seriously.
Yeah.
But I think I was a little checked out and not doing it exactly how I wish I had done it. But in general, the beats worked. And the kiss, I thought, was kind of funny at the end.
I like the cigarette.
Cigarette, good.
Yeah, cigarette was great.
I also will say in rewatching, I thought the romantic music came in a hair earlier than I wanted it to, and it was tipping it a little more than... I thought we could have slow burned it like a beat or two longer before we started revealing that's what the dog was up to. And I'm sure it was because we were just trying to get to it.
Also, it's that weird thing of a set where you're in an apartment and the shades are drawn because obviously, you know what I mean? It's that weird look of you can't show that you're in New York City, right? I'm assuming.
It was probably also nighttime and we wanted it to feel like daytime.
Was that actually Flat Hotel that we shot that?
I'm guessing.
I thought it was almost on 9 somewhere, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, maybe they just built us a set and didn't have an outside.
They definitely didn't build us a set. That was the last minute one.
No,
sure.
no, it's Flat Hotel.
Flat Hotel.
The next time we're going to talk is going to be the season premiere of the 2007-2008 season. But over the course of the summer, I feel like we hit on this a little bit during Hot Rod. But, you know, the movie comes out and... Did we talk about the summer it came out? I feel like we probably did.
It's a hit.
And how good it did?
Yeah, it's a hit. It made over $1 million.
Yes.
It made over $1 million.
I think we did talk about it and how we got out of town and we were like out at clubs in Europe and we were like, it's okay though, because maybe some people will say it's a cult classic in a few years. And that made us feel better.
I will say, you know what? I heard from a lot of people post the Hot Rod episodes that they rewatched it with their kids and their kids loved it.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else can you ask for besides money?
Yeah. Money would have been better, though, right? If the movie had made a lot of money, they probably would have showed it to their kids without having to be reminded.
But honestly, if it had done really well, it might have made it lame. Who knows?
Who knows?
One day those kids will be executives and give us all good jobs.
Yeah.
Or they'll be looking for like, find me the next Andy Samberg.
Bastards.
Here's the thing. First off, Dog Lover, not Criterion. We can just move past that.
Yeah, of course. Didn't even make the top 64.
No. It was a final episode of the season. We got it done. Made it to the summer.
Yeah.
I liked the naturalism in the very beginning of the sketch when Braff is showing you the apartment.
He does a good
Same.
job.
And that's why I was kind of disappointed that I started ham-boning. Because I was like, hey, it's nice and grounded.
I thought he did a great job and you did a great job. There's no cuts in it. It just brings you guys in. You guys say the dialogue. I'm completely comfortable.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say is this was our second season finale. First season, the last episode, we did Andy Walking.
Yeah.
This season, we did Dog Lover. Not our best, by all accounts.
Right.
Both fine. But I do just want to flag, like, let's keep an eye on, did we improve our end of the season showings?
Yeah, what the last years
Yeah.
are. Because it might just be too hard a needle to thread. End of season, dead tired.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you guys, as Keith pointed out, you'd had a run of 3 really nice ones before the last couple.
Yeah, no shame. Good season.
No shame. Also, really good season. There was another one of the bar songs in the Braff episode. There was another Vinny Vedecci in the Braff episode. I made a note because it was, again, as we've established with Vinny Vedecci, it is Bill as an Italian man doing the impressions that Bill does that were unusable in the show.
Right.
Then he goes, you were in the movie Manhattan Murder Mystery. And Zach Braff goes, yeah, it was my first movie. And then based on that, Bill does a Peter Falk impression. Just literally mystery. I think this question is twofold. They said which one was the least amount of time to make. But I'd like you guys to answer which one wrote fastest and then which one shot fastest.
I mean, it's kind of loaded because the one that was the fastest to ever be written was Daiquiri Girl because we improvised it
Yeah.
on camera.
Yeah.
But how much time did you put into making something else and then making that? You know what I mean? Can't you factor in that amount of time? Didn't you spend all week trying to do something else?
I mean, yeah.
Right. You have to add the other script to that count.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
because we wrote something else that we didn't shoot, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I thought smash and grab wise, Daiquiri Girl would have been my answer for like least amount of time from camera on to cut. That's a wrap.
I mean, I think it's pretty much all there.
Yeah.
But what's a great one that wrote fast?
I mean, Irene so far wrote fast, right?
If you're talking about songs, yeah.
I mean, Dick in a Box wrote fast once we started.
Yeah.
Lazy Sundays wrote fast once we started. A lot of them, once we arrive at a premise we like, we just write a ton and that goes fast. And then we read it all to each other and decide what lines we like best and start building it.
In terms of shooting, though, like obviously something that's going to be like a one camera kind of setup. Like I just rewatched Tizzle Whizzle, which I know is way in the future, but like that was a pretty quick one to shoot. I remember just because it's like a white psych.
Yeah.
I ran so far. I have not been able to watch this in the last 10 years without getting choked up. And I actually believe there's a good chance I'll get choked up talking about it.
Oh my God.
This is the season premiere. It is September 29th, 2007. The host is LeBron James. There is another sketch. Yoram, will you sing us into Seth's Corner? But can you add that it's also Akiva's Corner? Do you remember the sketch we wrote for Kanye this week? Akiva had an idea for Kanye West.
Yes. The timeline of this is crazy, though, because
It
we
is
can't
crazy.
even because it's really hard to remember why we had this idea, but it had to do with maybe Britney Spears. I honestly can't remember. But he was a little bit famous for bad award show behavior, for being either a poor loser or speaking out on behalf of others. But the Taylor Swift famous moment you are thinking I'm talking about has not happened yet.
It has not
That
happened
happens
yet.
a year from now. But it was already known enough that he had bad behavior at award shows that we talked to him. I think it was partially his idea. He said, I should make fun of award show stuff. And then
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. And because we knew that world, Lauren asked me to get on the phone with him. And then Seth, as head writer, was like, yeah, of course, I'll get on with you. I think I asked you, or I made sure you would. So me and you called Kanye and he kind of pitched it. And then me and you wrote out a big award show thing. Do you want to say what the sketch was now, Seth?
Basically, I was just him interrupting different award shows that he would even have less chance of winning.
I'm going to use that we're talking about Kanye as the segue into the short, if you would. Adam Levine was in a really good Kanye song called Heard Him Say. And that's why we thought to call Adam Levine for I Ran So Far.
Can I say something, though?
Yeah.
Seth, was it partly your idea, though? Or entirely?
I don't know.
I know one thing for sure, which was you coming and saying, just promise me if you do it, you'll do a line about Iran says they don't have the bomb, but they do. It's you. That line was your idea. You have no memory of that?
I have no memory of that.
It's the last line of the song.
Yeah.
No, I have other lines I like more than that one.
I didn't say best. I said last.
So it does break my heart that we are going to talk about a digital short that finished second overall when the cast and writers voted on the favorite of all time. And it's not readily available.
I think it is now. I
Okay,
think they
good.
did clear. No, it's here.
Okay, good.
It's on YouTube now.
Right off the bat, the audience has no idea what to make of it because this is not a big, wet comedy premise. This takes so long to figure out what is going on.
And tonally, it's very different off the bat.
It never winks once. It is earnest the whole way through. It is beautiful.
There's one wink. And it was Keeves' cut, and I love it. It's the insert of the floppy hand on the piano.
To your point about it looking good and the audacity, this is kind of the first one where we've even attempted that, I guess.
I was about to say the same thing.
I hadn't really thought about that when I was watching it, but
Yeah.
now where we went, hey, let's try to make this look amazing. And we hadn't gone to outside DPs yet. That switched at Jizz in My Pants when we had the record label. But we did get a Steadicam. Maybe we hadn't done that before. And we asked for things like Brooklyn rooftops and flatbed trucks. And we asked for more than we felt entitled to before.
Yes. The goal and the treatment was to make it look cooler and like a real video. And knowing that the more we leaned into it looking legit and having the lyrics be so stupid.
I do remember the feeling of being on that flatbed truck, though, and feeling like this seems special. Like what we're doing right now seems special.
There's also that thing of, I feel like there's always an expectation, which is totally fair, that an audience has, which is, oh, season premiere. This is going to be the best one because I have all summer to think about stuff, which is 100% not the case. And
Right.
nothing you think about over the course of the summer is actually good come the first show. But this felt like, because you'd never done anything like it before,
Mhm.
it felt like what should be logically in a season premiere.
Well, you know what else it was? Twofold. One, it was we were finally free of Hot Rod,
Yes.
Right.
just schedule wise
Yeah.
and emotionally and mentally. And I love Hot Rod. I'm not saying like we were imprisoned by it or
I
something.
think
but
everyone will understand it
Yeah.
by everything we've said up
Yes,
till
yes,
now.
yes.
No, but it had a huge summer. It was a massive blockbuster. We were coming in,
Yeah,
riding
yeah.
high.
Yes, but to what Yorm is saying, but the opposite, it was also, we were like, we want to make a good one.
Yeah. And we had singular focus. We were not spread too thin.
And I will also say, and it's the beauty of SNL, and it's a thing Lauren says a lot about a career, he'll always be like, it's good to have a home, no matter what you do with your career.
Yeah.
Having SNL as our home, even though the movie didn't perform well, we came back and then first show we did that. And it was like we got a whole new lease on life in our minds.
Of course. And everywhere.
I will say, similar to whatever one we were talking about last week or a week before, where we said this one felt easy. This one felt easy and blessed the whole way
Yeah.
through too.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot of
Did you say
work, but it
hashtag
never
blessed?
felt. Yeah.
Hashtag blessed.
Yeah, it was hashtag blessed.
Dagwood.
Maybe it's to Seth's point that we had it early in the week, so it was never rushed.
I
Yeah.
think that's what it was because the beat was easy to make. Like everything was flowing.
It was fun to write.
You can't get roof, truck, outfits last minute.
Correct.
Right.
So part of it is, I think this is you guys now, because again, the next one we do, which I also love, which is punching people before they eat, like it's a parallel track, but it kind of goes back to the old way, which people are super down for. But like you learned another thing, which is like, oh, if we come up with it a little bit earlier.
Right. Yes. Yes.
There's a Tootsie shot that I was really impressed with too, that I was like, man. And I wonder if it's because when we got the Steadicam, they were like, oh, then we should get a better camera too. Because I don't think we had like a DP lighting. We're just outside. But it feels like it had a better lens because this Tootsie long lens shot, the classic.
It does feel like it's shot way better overall.
All right, I'll just say it. I'll try not to get emotional. My favorite shot in the history of SNL is you in Times Square saying, I know you say there are no gays in Iran, but you're in New York now, baby. And the whole audience applauds. It's like literally my favorite moment in the history of the show.
Yeah.
Every time, even you saying it, the hairs on the back of my neck go up because I do remember feeling genuinely proud that because we never said anything in any of our shorts ever. Like they weren't ever about anything.
Also, and I realize why it hits me the way it hits me, is it was the moment I knew something. You know what I knew?
What's that?
It was Ann Golden era.
Yeah.
Oh, you slow
There it is.
I love it. It fucking never doesn't get me. Shoemaker told me a story today that I didn't remember. Also, Shoemaker had worked at Fallon when we were voting for the best short ever, and he is very upset because he claims if he was there, this would have won. He really does feel like this is the best of all time.
Well, by the way, Seth, what did you vote for? Because all three of us, I remember I didn't vote in every round, but all three of us voted in this round, and all three of us voted for I Ran So Far.
I also voted for I Ran So Far.
All right.
Also, Shoemaker said in front of me and Polar, this song always makes me really emotional. And Polar's like, what? What's wrong with you? And then she walked away, and I said to him, it makes me really emotional too. And he goes, why didn't you say anything in front of Polar? I was like, I don't know, man.
Because I want her to respect me.
She's pretty funny. Can I also just put you on Front Street a little bit, Seth? Because this isn't being filmed, Seth teared up when he was talking about it. And that's actually how I feel about this short as well. So,
Yeah, it's really good. It's Bon Jovi week.
Had John Bovey already aired?
Yeah, it had aired. He definitely wrote one.
Yeah.
And he definitely didn't want to do it.
Oh, did it not happen?
It didn't.
Wow.
that's a burn.
I mean, it wasn't.
burn.
It was not the right time for it. I believe John Bovey was like Stefan, which is it had one sketch before it became an update staple.
Right.
There was a questions Q&A in the monologue. I love a questions Q&A. I've always loved a questions Q&A. I know we've talked about this. Some people think they're super hacky. I love it very much. Let me say, I hope you'll let me keep this in your... Do you remember that Lauren originally thought that Jack Nicholson was going to be MacGruber in the Val Kilmer part?
Oh.
Oh, man, there were so many things that Lauren said about MacGruber. He also said that our budget was going to be like $30 million. So, we could all be wrong about stuff.
It's just really funny. By the way, I would have been super bummed if it wasn't Val Kilmer. I wrote a sketch called New Jersey Game Show, and much like question monologues, I know people think that game show sketches are a failure of originality.
Fuck those people.
I love them. I'm just saying, you haven't gotten to me. I love what I love.
Same.
New Jersey Game Show, the way you rang in was to yell, oh! And I don't remember much about the sketch outside of the fact that it maybe was the crew's favorite thing in the entirety of my time on the show.
On the Roy Rules episode, I had said I thought Matt Murray, the writer, Matt Murray, helped us with Roy Rules. And then Matt sent us a voice note saying, wasn't me. I don't remember. This week we had dinner with a bunch of old SNL buds, including Colin Jost, who was all, that was me.
It was?
Yeah.
Including the line. What was the line you guys attributed to Panther?
Well, here, I got Jost to send me a voice note.
Okay,
Oh,
here
great.
we go.
Oh, man, I feel so bad.
The most Simon Rich sketch. It's called Band Name. The other thing that happens at Update is it's the first appearance of Fred as Nicholas Fane, which is one of the more unique things in our run of the show.
Agreed.
But now I want to talk about punching people before eating. This is a companion piece to Andy popping into frame. I'm going to say this. People getting punched right before eating comes up. Everybody's on board right out of the jump. I do feel as though watching these in order, you sort of start to sense the goodwill you guys have built up.
Yes.
If I was teaching a film school class called Introduction to Lonely Island, I think this would be on my syllabus.
For a number of reasons.
I think because it's a 7 or 8 beat sketch. where after the first 2 or 3, it's very hard to predict what's going to happen next.
Yes, the dinky beat is also just like very like cliche us. And then the font as well is the impact yellow font. And you're just like, yep, that's all Lonely Island.
I mean, this was a classic one of I like got out of the shower on an off day and wrote down the phrase people getting punched just before eating and then brought it in. And Keith was like, God damn it. and then the three of us and probably other people came up with ideas that actually made it escalate and be interesting and funny.
Dave Grohl, Taylor Hawkins, they are eating. Andy comes in on the left side of the frame. Dex Taylor Hawkins. Dave Grohl looks up. He's been reading. He looks up. And then Andy comes in from the opposite side of the frame and punches him.
Can I ask a question to Keith and Yorm?
Yeah.
Did we do a cut, like an in-camera cut, or did I run around in the same take?
I bet you ran
around.
There's no way there was an in-camera cut.
You ran around, but if you want the real inside baseball and the timing, because it was one of the first times I ever did this, I split screen Dave off so I could retime it. So even though we did it in one take, exactly how you see it, I lost time in the center of it, so it timed out perfectly by making a split right in the center, and Dave is on a different, he's a little forward in the same clip you're watching at the same time.
Yes.
To nerd out even more, too, this was also one of the times that I was like impressed with your editing, Keeve, when you were like, oh yeah, in the movie Snatch, you remove frames in a punch. So you'll start with punch and then skip a bunch of frames and then go later in the punch, and it looks super savage. And it really does, actually.
I feel like, Keeve, you discovered that when we were doing the Boo back in Channel 101.
Yeah, I discovered it sometime back in LA because it was that there was some punch in a trailer that I couldn't get over why the punch looked so ferocious. And I just framed through, and the guy cocked his fist back. And then the next frame, it was way down, like in a way that was impossible. And I was
it was almost
like,
like across the face in the second frame where you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. And so I would just copy that by framing through each one of these punches and removing the key. There's always one frame where it looks like the fist is still, where you really see it in focus. And if you get rid of that one, it's always a blur and it looks way better.
It's not Criterion for me, but it is like a very important piece in the syllabus of Intro to Digital Shorts.
Agreed. I'll agree with that.
It could never make it through a table read. A bunch of series of events had to happen to lead to us having the freedom to create something this, hard to pin down.
That, and also what Seth mentioned when it started, because I remember actually starting to feel like, oh, they're on board when they shouldn't be. Like, it felt like a little quicker on this one, where they were like, oh yeah, they like this already.
Yeah, but I mean, it is. The opening title card is definitely, hey, we have an idea that is inherently funny and new. So I don't think they were like,
Okay.
it wasn't like,
All right.
we laugh at everything they do. It was more like, we're on board.
By the way, I don't know how I feel about it vis-a-vis Criterion.
You're okay with it being Criterion?
I don't know that it's a for sure no for me. I'll say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might put it in there for the same reasons you think it's part of the syllabus, but
Yeah.
it might make its way there.
This is a historically significant show, the Brian Williams Show. I should start by saying you guys did not off the bat remember if you'd even made a short for the show.
I remembered this.
No.
Okay.
We didn't?
I also want to know why it's historically significant. Why?
It is the last show before the 07-08 writer's strike.
Oh, before the strike.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We found out at the party the strike was official.
I didn't know that.
And I remember it was a really fun show. And again, the season had just started, right? We're in the basking in the glow of I Ran So Far and people getting punched before eating. MacGruber.
Just before.
Everybody's,
Yeah, we're all killing it.
everybody's on cloud nine. It's an and golden era. You don't want to mess with those. But at the same time, it was the time of a strike. And it was 100-day. We took a 100-day break. I will say, I believe Bill Hader and I cranked out an issue of Spider-Man,
Oh, yeah.
which was allowed. It was the most depressing 100 days because my entire life was the job. And I loved it so much. I hated it. Also, we partied so fucking hard.
It was a good time for me. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the strike time.
Much needed break.
I felt guilty about how much we were happy to have a break. I remember us being like, ooh, we get a break. And everybody being like, this sucks. And it's being like, yeah, it sucks. And then privately being like, hee, we get a break.
I feel like it's nice to relax.
The opening sketch is a Halloween sketch. This was a late in the game, either a Friday, or I think it was a Friday night, you guys. We wrote in my dressing room, myself and Jost and Klein wrote a Halloween cold open. Do you remember who came in wearing a Barack Obama Halloween mask?
Barack Obama himself.
Barack Obama did a cameo in this show. Brian Williams, a very good host. He was everything you want a host outside of the realm of actor to be. He was LeBron-y good. And I think we all knew, having met him around, I certainly knew by the time he hosted that he would be very good as a host. One of the great sketches in our time at the show is Jeff Montgomery. Would you agree?
Yeah,
I love
agree
it.
with that.
It was originally written for This Week, and Brian Williams. I had no memory of that.
Oh, did it go to dress?
Went to dress. And I think maybe Brian Williams was like, I don't know, I don't think I can do this one. Brian Diaries. It is Brian Williams talking us through his day. Some very nice jokes. Do you want to lay it out for us, Keith?
Yeah, I remember us just always somewhere. It was one of those ideas that I just had always wanted to do one like it, or all of us did. That was just a day in the life, like little doc. I guess kind of vaguely in the spirit of even the old Eddie Murphy White Like Me sketch.
Mm-hmm. And some of the Albert Brooks stuff too, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. There's just that tone of this kind of thing we hadn't touched yet. And we had been kind of looking to do something like this. And I don't know how we came to it that week, but I remember being happy we did. Andy, what was your takeaway when you watched it a couple days ago or whenever you watched it? Was it funnier than you thought? Less funny?
I thought it was like a really solid one that felt perfect for the show and reminded me of like classic older SNL episodes we grew up watching. I liked it more than I remembered because I remember at the time. I was like, at the time being like, yeah, it's good. It's not like super crazy hard laughs. But then watching it now in the flow of all of them, I'm like, it was better than it like needed to be.
It reminded me of a nice like Daily Show piece too, because it's just got that classic prepackaged.
It was host service.
Exactly.
It was a very important piece in the puzzle of having a news anchor host the show.
Yeah, I was like, this is what his comedic persona is going to be in this.
Because it also showed both a collaboration and that he was down. Everybody, this is really exciting. I'm talking to Andrew and Akiva just a few days after they dropped a new digital short. First of all, I had heard Sushi Glory Hole maybe 10 months ago.
Yep.
Keith, did you direct it as well?
Mike Diva did a lot of heavy lifting, and I would say we did it together. When me and Andy started doing Bash Brothers, we were like, this is a lot of heavy lifting. Who could we bring on? And we brought on Mike. So he co-directed all of Bash Brothers with me as well and co-edited with me and everything. And then we recommended him to SNL, and he's been working there for like 3 years now, 2 years. How many seasons has he done? 2 or 3?
This is his third, I think.
There you go.
Do you guys want to talk about how there's a whole new streamlined process to shooting shorts now?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Because there's basically just like a location now, correct? That they use every week?
Yeah, it's a huge building.
Yeah, they have sound stages now. That was born of COVID when they needed somewhere to shoot when no one could be on the streets. So they rented huge sound stages, and now they do everything there. The difference between when we did them and now is, let me just say, people there might have got bored of hearing us go, whoa, this is so different.
Yeah.
But it is enormous. It is like the difference between 5 people and 400 people. Like, it is exponential.
Were you jealous of it?
In part because it made certain things that were very difficult before very effortless. Like, they just have assigned wardrobe people and assigned makeup people and assigned effects people for afterwards for when you're doing VFX. So there's a lot of things where there's just a machinery to get stuff done. And the SNL crew is so good. And I know I always hear people say that, and maybe I hadn't experienced the opposite, but having experienced the opposite, or just having been in the real world maybe for 10 years, experiencing other crews, when I went back, I was like, oh my God, they are amazing. This woman, Jill, who did the wardrobe, we gave 2 references quickly through other people. And we showed up and she had 8 suits pulled for us, had her favorites laid out on the floor. They're basically exactly what we wore in the video.
Yeah.
No notes. We just tried them on, did it. She understood. She put all the things. We'd be like, oh, should we have a tie clip? There'd be 8 tie clips within a second. And that is not what it's like in the rest of show business. And same with Jody. That's just less surprising because Jody, we've always known, is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But shout out to Jill.
Jody's hair, extraordinaire.
Yeah, Jody's hair, and killed it with those wigs right away. But there's no learning curve. They all know what you're getting at and can jump to it. Whereas anywhere else in the world, there's so many rounds of notes and things move in slow motion.
I also think everybody gets better by working with the department heads, but also the department heads are so good because they are constantly working with very green writers and cast members. And so because Lauren empowers even the newest writer to be in charge of their sketches, the department heads are like, oh, we can't learn how to talk like this person. We have to teach this person how to talk like us.
Yeah.
And so very quickly when you're at SNL, I think you learn how you can just give a little bit of information and the department heads will go off and like make the best choices.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
It was nice to be back.
Yeah.
Who came up with the idea of Sushi Glory Hole to begin with?
That would be Akiva.
I don't know why.
He just came in and just said it.
Yeah, I just said it.
And then I was like, okay. And then he kept saying it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's try it then.
Did I say hear me out?
He didn't say hear me out. No. And we tried a whole version of it
Yes.
that didn't have any of the hear me out stuff on a different beat.
Yeah.
And it just felt kind of like, yep, feels like what Chat GPT would do if we punched in Lonely Island Sushi Glory Hole. And we were like, yeah, it's
Right,
fine.
right.
And then we were like, we do like some of these lines and some of these ideas. And then so we started it on a different beat that we ended up using. And then once we started writing, the hear me outs just happened organically.
Yeah.
Because of course those guys would say that before you would even react because they've pitched this 100 times and it's gone bad every time.
What did Lauren think of Sushi Glory Hole?
He said good job and shook my hand at the after party.
Yeah, he liked it.
Yeah.
It played later in the show than maybe we would have hoped for, but we understood that it was a little dirty.
A little dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we made the song, we were like, will this ever get a video? Videos are expensive. We don't have an outlet for it. So it was just kind of there being like, man, it'd be so cool to do one. And shout out to Lauren because Andy brought it up to him since he's there doing Doug.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, give it a go. Seth, your point though about that we always were the ones that couldn't go to dinner and couldn't do anything because we were always making the shorts. Andy got to have one of those nice normal SNL weeks where he just had, 2 sketches blocking at normal times. And I heard about that there was like a pretty good dinner that was had that last week.
Oh, so good.
But Keeve, that was the problem. Like you came out, but it was old digital short time, so you guys were breakneck.
Oh yeah, it felt weird. It was Tuesday. I was in the middle of I'm on deadline on Naked Gun on trying to get the edit in right now, and all of a sudden had to drop everything because Andy was like, "It's on. We're on a flight tomorrow morning. Let's go."
Yeah, and you're in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the other guy.
And I had a great time, but it was a whirlwind, and then we were back Sunday, so it felt crazy. The other nice thing I'll say that me and Andy, when we were out on the stage and we're watching it play live and we're looking up at the monitors and looking up at the audience and it was playing really, really well, we were both like, left that thing being like, wow, I didn't know if I'd ever have that feeling again.
Yeah.
So it's appropriate for this podcast of us being like, oh my God. It genuinely felt special. And it did feel different. Like my relationship to all of it felt a little different in a good way, I think, in a healthier way.
Yeah. It was a little bit like time travel also of like, oh, we're just back in the same spot praying that it lands. And then when it starts to work, you're like, oh, thank fucking God.
Yeah.
Also, a couple like touchdowns to the past where you have Maya and Keenan. But I thought the current cast was all super funny in it.
They were.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Did you have any sense? I know I'm putting you in a possible situation. Did you have any sense that anyone was like, oh, wow, this is so cool. I get to do a short?
A lot of them would say it a lot. And honestly, it was really heartening and nice. I really liked it. I felt a lot of warmth from people in a way I wasn't expecting.
That's really great.
Andy?
Yeah. I mean, there's always the thing of like being super flattered versus being like, oh my God, how old are we?
Right. When we came back in 2016 and did the Finest Girl from Popstar, it felt like people were still in competition with us.
Yeah.
And it was a little like, hey, what's up, guys? And now it's been long enough that everyone there is not.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, they were here before a while ago, which is correct.
Exactly. So there was more, I felt a lot more just friendly warmth from all the new cast members and writers that I met. Sushi Glory Hole, we were very proud of ourselves because as Andy touched on earlier, we had a first chorus fully recorded. It's a full listenable chunk. And it did feel, as you put it, like it was made by ChatGPT. And we were like, that's the old us. It doesn't sound new or like something else.
Yeah.
But it's hard to go deep into something and put it aside after wasting an entire day on it and then start totally fresh the next day on the same thing. The trick is figuring out what to do with them now because we don't have an outlet like SNL. And that, again, was why it was so great that this Doug came up and then this worked out where we were like, oh my God, we figured out something to do with it.
We're going to talk about returning from the writer's strike in 2008. We're about to do 4 shows in a row, and it's very exciting. The first show back is Tina Fey, who at this point had never hosted the show. And also, this is pre-Sarah Palin, so this is kind of her first time back.
Oh, awesome.
And it was awesome.
It was.
February 23rd, 2008.
We had overlapped with her one season, our first, her last.
Right.
And then she was in the process of making 30 Rock when we got hired. She was like shooting the pilot our first season.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how she balanced. There was a year where she was on SNL and also creating 30 Rock, which is kind of mind-boggling. I think that a couple of things happened in this episode where you realize the 100 days we were on strike, some real bangers of films came out because they become sort of a bit of a leitmotif throughout the episode. Because I wrote a sketch where Bill played Daniel Plainview.
Was that the same episode?
The same episode. Because that's
Oh
why
my
I
God.
realized, like, oh, this is the same episode.
Seth, I didn't remember that you wrote that. I love that sketch.
Yeah, it was basically it was Daniel Plainview had a milkshake place, right? I mean, that's kind of I drink your milkshake.
Yeah, and Bill's impression was predictably great.
And then Fred was Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. All 3 of these films are also referenced in the digital short.
That's right.
When do you think the Oscars were? Aren't they always in February?
Yeah, so it must have been right around then.
I bet you that's why.
But also, I think those were all the movies we sort of watched during the writer's strike
For sure.
Absolutely.
that kind of came out, and we had nothing to do but like go see movies. And it was a real, I mean, hot time. The other one we're going to mention in the digital short, Michael Clayton. I think, like, for me, Keeve, you share my love of Michael Clayton, correct?
Yeah, I'm a Clayton head.
I feel like ultimately what new films and television shows run up against when they want me to watch them is, are you going to hold my attention better than the 10th viewing of Michael Clayton?
Right. Were they written by Tony Gilroy or not?
Yes, exactly. Well, if it's a Gilroy, I'll watch it.
Sure.
Tony Gilroy, who directed Michael Clayton, which is, if you haven't seen it, a fantastic George Clooney movie. Maybe my favorite George Clooney movie. I'll go out on a limb and say it. And then he did Andor,
The greatest.
which is maybe my favorite Star Wars property since fucking Star Wars.
Yeah, it was very good.
It's very good.
Certainly in my time there, Annual is as good of a commercial parody.
I did that.
You shot Annual?
Yeah, it was an interesting one because they asked me kind of last minute because I could do things and they wouldn't cost anything. And it was going to go through the film department where everything gets done the right way and costs a fortune. And it was going to get cut. And so Tina and Paula came to me and said, do you have a way to just shoot this on the cheap so it can get on the show? And I shot it. I haven't seen it since it came out, but I remember I shot like there was a bridal showery kind of scene or something. And we just did it literally in Lauren's office waiting room on 17, like where those couches are, as opposed to building an entire set. Like they just put some balloons there and a bunch of women sitting around a couch. And you're like, yeah, it's fine. And so I did it our scrappy way, even though it was a commercial parody. And then this is something I can't remember ever doing again. And I wasn't in charge of this part. The main part of it's them on a white cyc, kind of all five standing there, or however many there were, kind of doing, the monologue to the camera talking about Annuel. So I did all the things it cuts to. And then that part they did live. So my things were technically just getting cut to, right? But they did that during dress. And then at air, they just used the dress. So it became a full pre-tape. It was a hybrid at dress and then a full pre-tape.
Ah.
Yeah. And I think I even took what they did at dress and maybe re-edited it a little bit to make it tighter too.
This is also, an example of why anytime somebody like Tina hosts the show, she comes back with one just ice cold killer of a sketch idea, which is Annual, for those who don't remember, was a medication that made you have one period a year.
Is it time to talk about why? So Yorm, during the strike, he went and did Land of the Lost. He talked about that in previous episodes.
Yeah.
And then, so he can't be on this podcast today because he's in Finland, but we did want him to talk about where he was. And he was not even at this episode. I don't know how many episodes we'll have to ask him he missed because he then was committed to a movie. So he didn't come back to SNL right away when we did.
Right.
That's right.
Because he was still shooting. He was still getting in that little monkey suit and doing his weird made up language and getting cortisone shots in his thighs. All things we should ask him about.
Right.
Because he had to crouch for 12 hours a day because he was in a monkey stance. But let's see. He sent this. I have not listened to it.
When the strike was happening, I didn't know how long it was going to last for. And I got the opportunity to audition for Chaka, the monkey boy who speaks a whole other language in the film Land of the Lost, starring Will Ferrell and Danny McBride. And I think this was before Anna Friel got involved in the cast. But anyway, so I auditioned for the part. I got the part. And I had to go to Lorne Michaels. And I was like, yeah, there's a strike on. I would really love to do this. And because we didn't know how long the strike was going to last for, he allowed me to do it. God bless. Thank you so much, Lauren. And then
Felt sarcastic.
after I shot for 65 days or so, and these guys had gone back to the show, and I was like, oh my God, like now the show's back on. And they were doing this Tina episode. I was like, what am I doing? I'm waking up at 3 a.m. and I'm putting 3.5 hours of makeup on to play this monkey boy character. And also I was getting cortisone shots.
Hey, there you go.
Because I was basically having to crouch every day during improv scenes of like 5 minutes of Danny McBride and Will Ferrell improving while I was like crouching for 5 minutes. So I was getting cortisone shots in my butt. I couldn't walk. Anyway, that's what I was doing during this period when these guys were making the Tina Fey show. Also, I want to say, because I think that was lively enough, hopefully, that I loved Sushi Glory Hole. Sushi Glory Hole was great. Good job, guys.
So Grandkids in the Movies is the name of this digital short. And I had only a slight hazy memory of this one.
Same.
I liked it more in rewatch than I had thought I would.
Okay.
But Seth, you've said multiple times on this podcast in the past, now we get into a run of 4 that you guys did that I think are spectacular.
Yep.
And then I, in my head, every time you say that, I go, Grandkids in the movies?
Yep. That's the mistake. But what I like about the run of 4 is the other thing I've said is they're all very different from one another.
That's true.
That's fair.
And Grandkids in the movie is very different.
Will you describe what it is? It's different from anything we did before or after. It was just a weird little idea.
Yes. Also, it starts like a commercial. It is a very well cast old man.
Yeah, he was great.
There was a little bit of I Think You Should Leave vibes happening in this because we cast an actual character actor as opposed to had someone dress up.
That phone's in the movie, Grandpa. That's not your phone.
That's the best beat in this thing.
It is the best beat in the thing.
Honestly, I was ready for it to be a repeated beat of every time it goes to the movie. Then it's just where are they going to be? And they're going to go, hi. And the fact that this one had a genuine observation and a real thing, and it was second, I felt the physical relief watching it when I watched it just before now.
Now, Bill wrote this with us, right, Keith?
Maybe.
I feel like he did.
That sounds familiar to me.
Yeah, maybe it was his bit.
Yeah. Answer this, Akiva.
Yeah.
If you could, would you go back and cut it tighter?
Yeah, like you're asking if we were making this today, would I cut it tighter? And yes, I probably would take more liberties with the movies we were using and just cut them tighter so that the piece can move faster.
Mm-hmm.
It is very nice and very fine.
Agreed. Not even close to Criterion, but nothing too embarrassing.
No, I feel like on any given week, it was like an interesting idea. We hadn't done it before. It incorporated topical movies, and it had a beginning, middle, and an end, kind of.